And then the other guy, who obviously was the other big name in this team, is Shroud. And I have to set this up because I feel like with the current climate, because Shroud later became such a different, he became like the biggest streamer in the world and everyone knows him now. In fact, the joke in CS is people now just get mad at all the things he says about CS if he ever implies CS2 is not going to be good aware. So the problem with this is like this, Sean, because of the way it ended in CSGO, where his game really went off the boil and stats-wise, he was kind of crap. And at the end, he wasn't really that good. I mean, spoiler, when they replaced him was when they won the major. Like, it doesn't look great for the end of your career. I feel like he's another player who doesn't get his due for when he was good. Like, mate, when he was on your team, when he first joined in 2014, he was just a clear talent. And then in 2015, I actually think low-key was just a really good player. Like, I've always said, when you had that run at the Pro League where you almost won it, that first one of the big summer run, dude, he probably should have been the MVP of that tournament. He was fucking cracked in that one. Like, but again, I've heard also similar things though to Skadoodle. I've heard he's also someone where, even though his mechanics are clearly like, if people don't get it, that's not exaggerated. It's not surprised to me he became like the best like POG player or POB player in the world. He can just have mad mechanics. But I've heard also he also might be someone where maybe he had like a weird feel for the game and sometimes he didn't always know what he wanted, what role he should play. What would you say to that? Like, what were the pros and cons of having Shroud, basically?
Yeah, I mean, like, everything you said is pretty spot on. Like, he was an insane talent. Like, the stuff we would see him do was crazy. Like, he was just like one bullet people all the time. He'd just be whipping all over the place. His pistols were unreal. He obviously never got upset. Like, as god mental when it comes to playing the game. And when he did get upset, it was actually like hilarious. Like, it was like a random outburst or something. Like, fuck this game. Like, it would just catch everyone so off guard that it would just be so funny. Like, it would actually be hilarious. So I loved playing with Shroudy. Like, I loved it so much. I think what he suffered from back then was, like you said, he was just a grinder. Like, he played not only CS, but he played like fucking Batman in his free time.
All right, okay.
He played like every game. And when he played CS, it was just like he was vibing out. Like, he was very fluid with his util. He subconsciously knew where, when, and how to take fights, right? Whereas like someone like myself, I have to be a little bit more cerebral about it. I have to think about it. I have to be like, okay, so like when I throw this piece of utility, like this person's going to move this way. Blah, blah, blah. Shroud doesn't even think that way. Like, he just knows because of the reps he's had, right? Like, it's a different way to get to the same conclusion. And he looks so fluid because of it, just because of the amount of hours he put into the game. But because of that, he didn't know like what he liked doing. It was like he just kind of played. He just kind of played and he went everywhere and he did whatever when he was streaming. He was like the best bugger ever. He streamed a lot. And so the way I like incorporated in the team is I had to like literally like watch his stream. I would watch his, okay. I would watch and be like, okay, so like he likes going into like short B on overpass. Like, how can we get him in this scenario, like in a team environment? Like, how can we get him to get this fight? Like, it looks like he really likes this fight. Like, it looks like he's really good here. Like, he's taken it like 3 times tonight. Like, and I would try to like watch his stream and think about like how I can get those scenarios in pro play, because you can't, like, you just can't get those scenarios. Like, chokes are smoked off at specific timings and they're refreshed and they're mollied, but in pugs, like, that doesn't exist. Like, you're taking a lot of fights all over the place. So just trying to think about like how I can get him like similar engagements was what I went for. And I was very focused on like making sure he was confident in himself to a fault. Like, there was the ESEA finals that we played in, maybe it was Cologne. I don't know. It was super hot. It was the one where it was like very hot. We played against Fnatic. It was best of 5. And we played them on Dust 2 and we lost like an eco. And I remember back then I wanted Shroud to have like a lot of confidence. So I told him, like, I created this strat where like I could have him just like rush mid on Dust 2. Like, okay, we're gonna have Shroudy rush mid. We're gonna have someone like hold lower B. We're gonna have someone cat like nade lower B, hold lower B. The op will be posted on like, you know, the drop mid, like dark mid, and we're gonna protect him from like all of the variants, and then he can just like aim and get like into the game and get his confidence up. But then he got like one shot, like someone else got one shot, and the whole round fell apart. And it was like, fuck, we just lost an eco because like I'm trying to like
You're trying to like brute force a duel for him so he can get a kill, right?
yeah, exactly. Like I think I would honestly do the same thing all over again if I could. Like I think like those kind of things were important back then. And I think even in like a team now, I would still do those things. But just like some insight into my mindset, like you know, like I wanted Shroud to get like active. I also wanted the other team to feel like we were being more aggressive than we were. So that way on like a gun round, like they would be very cautious. We would bleed the clock from them. They would run out of time. Our util would be much stronger in like the late round. So playing like that aggressive on an eco seems like you're gaining all these like micro edges for later on. It's just we got really punished there. And that's like kind of like how I dealt with Shroud back then. But it kind of got better as time went on. Like I think he evolved into like a complete player. By the time I was off of Cloud9 and you know, like I was watching him and he was in like a supportive role. Like he knew he didn't really want to play too much. He was kind of like into streaming. He was a great support player, actually. Like he was insane. He was playing like B-side on Mirage, I remember, when Stewie was on the team. He was so good in like a supportive role at that point. But I don't think he could have done that when I was playing with him initially.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.